guys, what's up? Welcome to the EJ Tech Show. I'm Sahil and this is Soham, and in this episode we are going to be reviewing Samsung's superphone, the Note 20 Ultra, which is also super expensive, but then it's also packed with a lot of technology like an upgraded S Pen, a high refresh rate display, and also a camera system that can shoot up to 50x zoom. But considering that this is the Note phone and it represents the Note legacy, expectations for this productivity-focused device are naturally going to be very high.
But I think it delivers. I think Samsung is a brand that people anyway expect a lot from, especially this being their second range of devices that they released for the year. But I think they did deliver. In most aspects, they delivered. There are a few nitpicking points which we're going to cover, of course, in the review. But for the most part, this is easily one of the best smartphones of 2020.
Yeah, so we will be nitpicking, but first let's start with that design. And I've got to say, hands down, that this is the best looking Note phone I have ever seen.
Better than the Aura Glow Note 10 Plus?
Well, that was a little bit outlandish. This is way more subtle, but that mystic bronze color, we've seen it in the leaks, we've seen it in the renders, but in person, it looks even nicer. And on top of that, you're getting this really nice matte haze finish, which feels really premium in the hand. And in typical Samsung fashion, you've got metal on the sides, on the top and the bottom, and you've also got a glass back which is protected by the latest Gorilla Glass Victors, both on the back and the front. And talking about the front, you're getting impossibly thin bezels over here, and you're getting curved screens. Now, I would have hoped that Samsung would have opted for a flatter display like they did with the S20 series, but they've gone for curved edges over here, which is fine. It doesn't add a whole lot in terms of functionality, but you can't deny that it kind of looks cool.
So now we still have the Note 20 with the flat display, with the Infinity O flat display.
Yeah.
But still, the curved display is something that usually embodies a premium flagship level smartphone.
Sure.
So it's expected that Samsung might go towards that, even though they have toned down the curved edges over the years.
Okay, but let's address the elephant on the back, because it literally is an elephant. This camera bump, it's not even a camera bump, it's a camera mountain. And it really sticks out. So it has great wobbling potential on a flat surface. And the fact that Samsung hasn't included a cover with the box is a really bizarre decision, because this needs to be covered. Then you'd be hiding its beauty, but it is also top heavy, by the way. It makes it feel top heavy. But when you compare it with the S20 Ultra, which gets a similar camera bump, this phone in the hand feels much lighter. It's not as heavy. And also over here, the camera module feels like it belongs here. It's well incorporated into the body over here. And inside that camera module, you've got three camera lenses. They've got a very beautiful ring around them. Each camera lens has that. And it's a very small thing, but it adds so much more to the design language.
The S20 Ultra was good. It was a great phone and had great specs. But I think on the design front, the S20 Ultra was a bit lacking. It was a bit everyday to be that expensive a flagship phone. The Note 20, I think, has made up for that lack of design innovation, I would say. And those rings do look really nice. They reflect lights in different patterns. Quite nice looking.
Now, as usual, no headphone jack on this one. This was unfortunately expected. But then you do get things like IP68, water and dust resistance. You get stereo speakers. As far as flagship level features are concerned, you're covered. Okay, I want to talk about my favorite feature though, and that's the display. And if you're planning to buy the Note 20 Ultra, or if you're planning to upgrade from the Note 10 Plus, then this screen would be the most single important reason to do that, because this is just a fantastic display. You're getting a 6.9-inch dynamic AMOLED display with a 1440p resolution, and it's just so nice to look at. And yes, we know that Samsung is known for making the greatest OLED displays, but I think this year they've actually outdone themselves, because I'll go as far as saying that this panel is better than the one you get on the OnePlus 8 Pro. So that's a really big compliment.
But this also gets a 120Hz refresh rate, which means, like the S20 Ultra, you can use it at super high speeds.
So smoother scrolling, better animation playback.
But I do have a problem with that 120Hz.
There's a big catch, right? I mean, it only works with FHD plus resolution and not QHD plus resolution. So you lose that higher resolution.
Which is mind-boggling to me, because even OnePlus has shown that it can be done. But honestly, I understand why Samsung has done that, because Samsung ultimately wants to give the user a full-on experience. They don't want that their user gets a lower battery because of that.
Yeah.
So they've taken things into consideration. It's not just a...
And by the way, that 120 Hz is not locked, right? So you've got the 60 Hz that you can choose between, and then you can also choose an adaptive 120 Hz display. So what that means is, depending on what you're doing on the screen at any given time, the refresh rate can go as low as 60 Hz, and it can go as high as 120 Hz. And like he said, they've done this so you get better battery performance. By the way, this display is also great for gaming because you've got this boxy display and it's wider on the sides. You get to see a lot more content. Everything just looks a little bit bigger. Display. Yeah. So even gaming and also watching videos, it's going to be fantastic. You're going to get inky blacks. You're going to get super vivid colors. And because those bezels are so slim, you're going to definitely get a really immersive viewing experience all over this display. Now, there is a small interruption to that ocean of screen. So you've got this hole punch centrally aligned right on the top. And I'm not a big fan of this. I prefer it on the left or the right side because I will say with central hole punches that my eyes are automatically drawn to them when I'm watching content. And yeah, it would have been better if they put it on the left. But this is pretty much the design aesthetic with all of Samsung's phones now, even with their A series, their S series, also on the Note series. Also, great haptics on this phone, by the way. I thought the one on the S20 Ultra was really good, but over here, they've just outdone themselves. Everything just feels so responsive under your thumb, under your fingers. It's just really, really nice. And then you've also got an in-display fingerprint sensor, which is actually very fast and very reliable. I'd say that Samsung's actually come a long way since the S10 series, where the in-display fingerprint scanner was very finicky, didn't work half the time. But now, 10 out of 10 times, it opens up the phone, no problem.
And actually, this being a Samsung Note series phone, a flagship top-tier level phone, means that this technology is soon going to trickle down into, let's say, the mid-range A series, etc. So that's good because within the next 6 months, we'll start seeing the same super fast unlocking speeds on mid-tier phones, which is really good.
Yeah, so good display, good design, and honestly, Samsung's won those awards already. And of course, one of the biggest features with any Note phone, no Note phone comes without one, is the S Pen. And this time around, for some reason, they've placed it on the left side because forever it's always been on the right side at the bottom of the phone. And long-time Note users probably might find this annoying, but it's not a big deal. You eventually get used to it being on the left side. But yeah, so this is the brand new S Pen. And the headline feature over here is that you're getting a much lower latency, so of 9 milliseconds now. So that's down from 42 milliseconds.
That's like Apple Pencil level.
Yeah, so it's Apple Pencil level, and it works really well. It's very responsive. That's what latency means. The contact you make with this S Pen on the display is very responsive. It's very fluid. So when you're writing notes, when you're doodling, when you're scrolling, it's going to be very natural. Also, that lower latency comes into play for artists, right?
Yeah.
So it actually feels almost as if you're drawing on a piece of paper. In fact, I gave this to my wife, who happens to be an artist. I gave her the S Pen, I gave her the phone, and she was drawing on this, and she said, yeah, this actually feels pretty realistic. Now, there is also this whole debate about whether you need a stylus with your phone. I mean, iPhones don't come with styluses, and for multitasking, iPhone is great.
That'd be a real piss on Steve Jobs. Great.
Yeah, that too. But considering that this is a Note phone, it is a productivity-focused device, and Samsung has made some great enhancements to Samsung Notes, this S Pen makes sense.
Yeah, and especially for, let's say, graphic illustrators. Now, usually most graphic illustrators I know, they usually have bulky iPads or iPad Pros with their Apple Pencil, and they have to bung it along in a bag everywhere. This just fits in your pocket, and you don't need to carry a separate holster for the S Pen. There's a place for it already. And you get a large display as well, big enough at least for you to get some sort of graphic illustration done on the move.
Okay, so let's come over to the camera performance now, and you're getting a triple camera setup over here. You're getting a 108 megapixel wide angle lens, you're getting a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens, and you're getting a 12 megapixel telephoto lens.
You know what I'm surprised about? The main thing I'm surprised about is Samsung sells quad rear camera setups on their mid and low tier phones, with triple camera setups on their high tier phones. And I think that confuses a lot of people about, doesn't more cameras mean better? Well, no. Like the Note illustrates, no. It's about resolution, it's about the hardware that the camera packs.
It's about the AI as well.
Exactly.
It's more important than the lenses in some cases. And Apple and Google have proven that.
Yeah, even with single camera
lenses or just 3 camera lenses. They've proven that time and time again that it really is the software that makes or breaks camera phone. And I'm glad to say that, yeah, this is with the hardware and the AI, this is a very good performing camera smartphone. But also, let's address those autofocus issues that the S20 Ultra faced. Now, you don't have any of those problems with this one, so Samsung has learned their lesson. Yeah. It's very quick to capture focus, and that's also because on the back you're getting a brand new laser autofocus system. So very quick to capture focus. It won't stutter, it won't take forever to catch focus at all. But I want to first talk about that telephoto lens, right? So it can shoot up to 50x zoom. Not 100x like the S20 Ultra, but I think Samsung...
100x wasn't necessary? I'm shocked.
I think Samsung has realized that no one really needs 100x, and I think also no one really needs 50x. The only situation I find the 50x camera to be useful is if you're taking an image that has text written on it, and that too from a great distance. Then yeah, I mean, even then the image won't have the sharpest details, but it's useful for whatever purpose you want to use it
So
for.
if you get into a lot of hit and run accidents, then this is good because then you can just snap whoever hit and run.
Yeah.
So that's good.
So that way, but again, you won't be using it in a lot of scenarios. But as long as your 2x, your 4x, your 5x, and your 10x zoom levels are good, then it's fine. And I'm happy to report that all those zoom levels I mentioned, this camera captures all those pictures really nicely while preserving a lot of detail. Now, then you got that whopping 108 megapixel primary sensor that we also saw on the S20 Ultra. You can, if you want, shoot with 108 megapixel, but by default it clicks 27 megapixel because of pixel binning, where it basically combines 4 pixels into one. So you basically get more consistent performance across different lighting situations. And I would suggest you stick with that because it takes really nice pictures. Yes, it does oversaturate certain colors, like Samsung AI processing is known for that, but I'm okay with that because it's at least A, it's Instagram ready, and B, the colors look so nice and punchy. So it just, if you put it on Instagram, you're never going to need to put a filter on any of these photos.
So now you did mention that the Vivo X50 and X50 Pro were really good with their night photography, almost pixel level, which are big words. But do you think this has now edged towards the pixel night side?
It's getting closer, but I would say the Vivo X50 Pro does take more brighter pictures. Just their algorithm, they've slightly Vivo is really fun. I think that's where they've spent all their money. Okay, so, but this is not a bad low light photography camera. It takes some really nice low light pictures, and the night mode also works really well. I mean, if you compare pictures taken without the AI and with the night mode, you will see a noticeable difference. Now, I'd say the weakest link for this is the ultra wide images. They're okay, but yes, you will notice a fair amount of distortion on the edges. And sometimes it takes good ultra-wide images, sometimes it does. It's not the most consistent. And also you've got a 10 megapixel selfie camera, which, fine, takes good enough selfies, will do the job fine, but it does have a habit, the AI does have a habit of really just smoothing skins to unnatural levels, and this has been a problem for the longest time on Samsung flagship phones and also on their mid-budget phones. So if you want a more natural look, I would say turn that option off, turn the skin smoothing option off, and just try to take it like a normal picture. You'll get much better results. Now, apart from photography, you've got some nice video features as well. It shoots nice videos, good dynamic range, crisp, and you can shoot up to 8K videos if that's what you want to do. But I will say that when you pan with the camera, it will have this really nice, not nice, but it'll have a very powerful jitter effect, and that's something you really don't want in your videos. And it's okay, it also takes up a lot of space, and yes, I mean, there is an advantage, you can crop in and the resolution will still be very high, it's all that, but honestly 1080p or even 4K, it's good enough for now. Now, we've already addressed the elephant on the back. Now let's address the one that's literally inside as well. This phone comes with, or is powered by the Exynos 990 and not the Snapdragon 865 Plus that you get in other regions. Now, the Exynos 990, it's not a bad processor. This is a fast phone, and considering it comes with 12 GB of RAM, you're more than okay with gaming and multitasking. But yes, also if you look at benchmark tests, the Snapdragon 865 and the 865 Plus are both slightly more efficient than this. Now, most people won't notice those subtle differences. Most people won't notice that the 865 or 865 Plus Snapdragon chips give you slightly better GPU performance, or that apps may open a little bit quicker on their phones.
Honestly, the Exynos 990 I think is enough for this. I do have problems with Samsung bundling the Exynos 9611 in other phones constantly.
That's a different. Watch our M31s review for that.
But still, the Exynos 990 is good enough for me to say that, you know what, if in the next 3 years Samsung starts bundling this in mid-tier phones, I'm fine with it. It's good enough for that.
But I will say this, that the one place the Exynos 990 makes a difference is with battery life. You're getting a 4500 mAh battery on this one, and it's good. It's really an optimal battery for an entire day's usage. And also it comes bundled with a fast charger, 25 watt fast charger. So from 0 to 50%, it'll take about half an hour. And then to top it fully, it'll take just slightly over an hour. So those aren't bad charging speeds at all.
But I do wish Samsung would take the fast charging
to the next level.
Technology to the next level. I think we've had a few years of 25 watt.
See, they did with the Note 10 series, they did offer 45 watt, but it didn't come in the box.
Exactly. So one place where the Note 20 Ultra excels is software. Now this runs Android One UI 2.5, and it's got features like DeX, which increase productivity along with that S Pen. So you've got a large screen already. You plug it. Earlier you had to plug it in fact, for DeX. Now it's wireless DeX mode. So we had shown it even on our, I think, Tab S6 review. DeX is really cool if you're trying to get a sort of watered down Windows experience on the fly.
Plus, you can use your Android apps on your certain Windows laptops as well. So you get that full experience, but on a larger canvas with your laptop.
And now Samsung and Microsoft are working so closely together that there's a lot of interchangeable features you get between the two operating systems. So if you already use a Windows machine, there's a ton of things you can do interchangeably, like OneNote, OneDrive, etc. You can use on the fly, and this works perfectly with that.
And that's where the whole productivity thing comes in with Samsung Note phones. They're known for that. Okay, let's wrap things up and answer the most important question. Should you buy this phone or not? Short answer, yes. And I know it's very expensive. It's almost 1.5 lakhs. But despite that, you got to remember that this is packing in so much tech. S Pen, high refresh rate display, a fast processor, not Snapdragon 865 Plus, but still a very fast processor, a great design, all these great productivity features. You're getting everything that you can imagine, and that's who this phone is for. People who want everything, people who want the latest specs. And this phone is offering that to you. And about the pricing, you got to remember all Samsung flagships are very, very expensive when they first come out, but then down the line, especially when there's a special sale going on, those prices will come down. So if you think it's like really expensive right now, you can wait down the line and then purchase it when those prices come down. It's not going to be like overly cheap either. It's still going to be expensive, but if you have to buy this phone, you're going to buy it because that's what Note users do. They want the best, and you're getting the best with this phone.
See, we can nitpick about the Exynos 990 with a Snapdragon like 10 days a week. But when it comes down to the facts of it, this is the best smartphone that Samsung makes. And this is easily the best Note they've made to date.
Right, and on that note, no pun intended, that was our review for the Note 20 Ultra. We really hope you enjoyed watching that episode, and if you have any feedback to give, and if you like the show, do press the sub button, do press the like button. We'll be back with more gadget reviews next week. Stay tuned.